She swore she loved me too much to leave, even as I pushed her away with every fiber of my being. Then, she cheated. It broke me. I walked away, vowing never to look back. But years later, a ghost from the past reopened old wounds, revealing a truth so raw, so unexpected. It forced us to confront the ultimate question: can love truly heal a betrayal born of desperation? And can a second chance erase the scars? 7 years ago, I packed my bags, left France, and landed in the US. Culture shock, oh, you bet. My English was practically non-existent back then, still pretty rough honestly, and everything felt foreign, overwhelming. I figured it would take me ages to find my footing, what with the language barrier, the new food, just navigating a whole different world. But then I met her. She was this bright, funny, super smart woman who just got me from the jump. It was love at first sight, no joke. We clicked instantly. She had this incredible faith in me, always telling me it'd be okay, that I'd love living here as much as I did back home. She was my anchor. She helped ease my homesickness like nobody else could, and even brought me into her family. They welcomed me with open arms like I was one of their own. Before her, I was pretty narrow-minded, an introvert, and yeah, kinda cynical about love and life in general. She changed all that for the better. I actually started believing in connection and happiness. But here's the thing about old habits and deep-seated issues. They creep back. Slowly, subtly, I started to feel that familiar darkness pulling me back into myself. My past self, the one that saw problems everywhere, the one that was too scared to be truly happy or vulnerable. It wasn't her fault, it was all me. Arguments started erupting more and more often out of nowhere sometimes. She'd try to talk to reason with me to break through my walls, but it was like I was deliberately putting them up higher, thicker. My goal, though I didn't consciously admit it at the time, was to push her away. I don't know why. Maybe I thought I didn't deserve her, or that I did, to mess it up for good anyway, so why prolong the inevitable? I remember sitting there one night, the air thick with unspoken tension after another stupid fight. I just looked at her, my voice flat, almost devoid of emotion. Just leave me, I told her. You deserve better than this. Inside I was a mess, begging her to stay but unable to say the words, only the cruelest ones. She'd just look back, her eyes clouded with pain but firm. No. She'd say, her voice quiet but resolute, I'm not giving up on you. It was a constant battle for nearly 2 years. Me pushing her out, her fighting her way back in. Over and over. Part of me started to believe her that maybe we could make it work. Maybe things would actually get better. Until one day I think she just couldn't take it anymore. She sent me down the late afternoon sun slanting through the blinds, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. Her hands were clasped in her lap, knuckles white. She swallowed hard, her gaze fixed somewhere past my shoulder. I've been seeing someone, she said, her voice barely a whisper. Met him online. A few times. My brain tried to process those words, but it felt oddly numb. Finally, I thought. This was it. This was the escape I'd been subconsciously craving, the ultimate push. She looked genuinely confused herself. I don't know why I did it, she continued, her voice trembling. He's not even attractive, honestly. I don't know. The words hung in the air, heavy and final. I didn't yell. Didn't argue. I just stood up. Then it's over, I told her. The finality of it felt like a punch to the gut, even though I'd been trying to orchestrate it for so long. The relationship was fractured beyond repair, and I was the primary architect of its destruction. I don't want to see you or hear from you ever again. It was harsh, I know. But in that moment, I believed it was the only way to end the cycle of pain I was putting her through. I walked away, leaving behind the only person who had ever truly seen and loved me. Looking back, the dilemma was so clear. I was deeply in love, but my own internal struggles and self-sabotage had me trapped. I was hurting the person who cared most about me, and in some twisted way I felt she deserved to be free of my mess. But I couldn't bring myself to just walk away clean, so I created an unbearable tension that ultimately led to her desperate act. This all happened years ago, but the memory still stings. I'm wondering if anyone else has ever found themselves in a similar situation, trapped between loving someone intensely and pushing them away because you felt unworthy or destructive. How do you break free from that self-sabotaging cycle before it costs you everything? After that messy breakup, I went totally dark. No contact. 4 years. It felt like the only way to heal, to cut out the infection that was our relationship, which I in my messed-up head was convinced I was. Life just continued. I worked, I ate, I paid bills. But a part of me felt like it had been permanently switched off, just running on autopilot. I deleted all the photos, unfollowed her on everything, just tried to scrub her out of my digital existence and my memory. Or so I thought. Last year I was digging through some old files on my laptop, trying to free up space when a folder popped up. An old one. And in it, a picture. It was us laughing arms around each other at some fair. The sun was hitting her hair just right, and her smile, man, that smile. My gut twisted. I thought I'd nuked every single photo of us, but this one, it was hidden deep, a digital ghost from a happier time. Staring at that image, I wasn't just seeing a picture, I was seeing a whole life, a different version of myself. My mind replayed moments, conversations, the way her hand felt in mine. It hit me then like a ton of bricks. That emptiness I'd been carrying around, that hollow feeling, it wasn't just post-breakup blues. It'd been missing her. Not just the good times, but her, the actual person. And the realization that slammed into me next was even heavier. I was still, after all these years, pretty much in love with her. My first thought was, what am I doing? This is crazy. But then a flicker of courage, or maybe just desperation, sparked. I needed to know. Not necessarily to get back together, but just how was she? I pulled up her old email address. My fingers hovered over the keyboard for a good 5 minutes. This felt like a huge risk. What if she ignored me? What if she was married with kids, living this perfect life, and my email would just be an unwanted shadow from her past? But the alternative, not knowing, living with this gnawing what if, felt worse. So I typed out a short, neutral email. Something like, hey, hope you're doing well. Just checking in. Sent it. Then instantly regretted it, convinced she wouldn't reply. But she did. A day later, there it was in my inbox. A simple message, I'm okay. How are you? My heart jumped into my throat. She replied. My brain immediately shifted into overdrive. Okay, she's okay. Good. Now what do I do impulsively without really thinking through the consequences? I emailed back suggesting we talk on the phone. And she said yes. The phone rang for what felt like an eternity, and when she picked up, her voice sounded exactly the same but different. Older, maybe. We talked for almost 2 hours, just catching up on the years. We skirted around the breakup for a while, just talked about our lives. And then she told me her father had passed away last year. That hit me hard. Her dad was such a warm, welcoming man. He treated me like family. I felt a pang of guilt that I hadn't been there for her. I'm so sorry. I said, my voice thick with genuine regret. He was a great man. I know how close you were. Then I just let it all out. And I'm so sorry for everything. For how I treated you back then. It was all my fault. What happened? I pushed you away. I don't blame you for leaving, or even for what you did. The line was silent for a moment, and then I heard her take a shaky breath. She started crying. Not just sniffles, but deep, heartbroken sobs. She said it had haunted her for years, that she honestly had no idea why she did it, because she loved me so much. It wasn't like her, she insisted. It just wasn't. Hearing her cry, hearing the genuine confusion and pain in her voice solidified something for me. This wasn't malice or a casual disregard. This was a desperate act from someone pushed to their limit. Hey, I insisted, trying to keep my voice steady, let's just forget about it. Let's try to start again. As friends. She paused, then a little tearfully said she would love to. I felt a cautious flicker of hope. This conversation confirmed it wasn't just me feeling like there was something unfinished. My goal at that moment was to offer her peace and a path forward, even if it was just friendship, because the thought of losing her entirely permanently was unbearable. My dilemma was navigating this fragile new connection while my heart screamed for more. Have any of you ever had a moment like this, years after a breakup, where you realized the connection was still there, despite all the hurt? How did you manage those initial steps to reconnect, knowing you were walking on eggshells with so much history? Alright, here we go with the final push, and where things seems. And now, this is probably the hardest part to put into words, but I'm just going to lay it all out there. After that 2-hour phone call, I didn't sleep a wink. My brain was just replaying every word, every laugh, every tear. I kept thinking about her voice, the way it cracked when she talked about her dad, and then about how much she still loved me despite everything. That's when it truly hit me, the friendship idea I'd dethroned out. Yeah, that was a band-aid on a gaping wound. I wasn't just feeling closure or platonic fondness. I was still head over heels in love with her. That emptiness I'd been feeling for years, it was a girlfriend-shaped, soulmate-shaped hole. My heart was screaming. This is it. This is your chance. The next morning I woke up with a clear, terrifying mission. I needed to call her. No beating around the bush. I picked up the phone, took a deep breath and dialed. When she answered, I just blurted it out, probably a little too fast, my voice shaky. Look. I said, I know we said friends, but I can't. I've been missing you like crazy, and honestly I felt this massive hole in my life since we broke up. I'm still in love with you. There was a pause, a really long one that felt like an eternity. Then her voice, soft and a little tearful, came through. I feel the same way. She confessed. I've never had the courage to tell you. I was just so ashamed of what I did. My heart soared. This was it. This was real. Then let's fix this? I said, a wave of adrenaline rushing through me. Let's meet. I'll come to you. She lived a couple of cities over a 2-hour drive. I didn't even hesitate. I told her I'd meet her at a park we used to go to, a neutral place. I hung up the phone and practically flew out the door. The drive was a blur, my mind racing with every possible scenario, every word I wanted to say. When I pulled into the park, she was already there, sitting on a bench under a big oak tree, looking out at the water. She turned as I approached, her expression a mix of nervousness and a faint smile. I didn't even sit down. I just stood there looking at her, and the words just tumbled out. I want to get back together with you. I said, no preamble, no small talk. I know I messed up big time. But I've changed, I really have. I promise I'll be better than before if you just give me another chance. She looked down at her hands, fidgeting with the hem of her shirt. I could see the hesitation in her eyes, the worry. I knew what she was thinking. Her cheating. That dark cloud still hung over us. But I wasn't having it. Please. I continued, taking a step closer. I've forgiven you. And it wasn't entirely your fault either. I was an asshole. I pushed you away for years. You were exhausted. She finally looked up, her eyes wide, and slowly a tear traced a path down her cheek. She didn't say anything for a long moment, just nodded. A slow, tentative nod. And just like that we were back. Some of my friends, when I told them, thought it was a completely hasty, careless decision on my part. They were like, dude, you're just justifying her actions because you're still in love with her. You're turning a blind eye to her betrayal. And I get why they'd think that. But honestly, that's not the case. I truly believe she only cheated because she was at her absolute breaking point. She couldn't leave me, like she said, because she loved me too much, even when I was making her miserable. So I think in a twisted way, cheating was her desperate escape hatch, a way for us to break up when we had no other choice. It hurt like hell, don't get me wrong. But I had put her through so much worse, torturing her every single day with my self-sabotage. It was hasty, yeah. But wrong, I don't think so. I truly believe this is my only chance to make up for all those years of pain I put her through. We're together again now, and I'm happier than I've been in ages. I cherish every single second of it. We're not the same people we were years ago. We've both grown, we've both learned hard lessons. So I guess my question to you all, Reddit, is this: when someone makes a colossal mistake, but you can see the profound reasons behind it, and you've both done the work to understand and forgive, is a second chance always worth the risk, or are some bridges just permanently burned no matter how much love is left? And sorry if anything in this post doesn't make sense, it's probably my English. Still learning. Heck, I still can't even get rid of my accent. But she loves it, so whatever.